All right, the first thing we want to do is clarify some things in our minds. And the first thing we want to clarify is a fact. There is no such thing as muscle memory, despite the fact that most people use that term indiscriminately. The fact of the matter is that our muscles have brain sensors. They have sensors that report to the brain. So the knowledge about what we're trying to get our muscles to do must come from the brain. And then the cooperation of the muscles with the brain's understanding will enable us to learn movement. And make no mistake about it, golf is the least naturally athletic sport in the world. So we must know what we're doing, must know what we're trying to do in order that the brain can direct the body through the movements. First of all, we want to talk about goals. And most people think this is rather simplistic, but it's very, very important. There are three things we want to do with a golf ball once it leaves our golf club. Number one, and every beginner in the world has heard this, is we want to get the ball up in the air. Well, there's a law in physics that we all learned in 8th grade, and it's called the law of reflection. And what that means is that if we want the ball to go up in the air, then when we swing the club, we must swing down, because that law says that the angle of attack will equal the angle of reflection. So number one, get the ball up in the air. Objective number two is to hit the ball straight, or straight at your target. We'll use this ruler here to designate a target line. In other words, a line pointed at where you want the ball to go. Now, unfortunately, because of the way most people swing, they either have a flat back swing, come over the top, and pull across the target line, not down it, or they pick the club up early, make a round, and go across the other way, so that the odds of the club face being square when it hits the ball and therefore propel it straight are somewhere between slim and none. So in order to hit the ball straight, we must have the club going down the target line as long as possible. Most professionals do that about 12 inches. Most good amateurs do it about 8 inches, 4 inches behind the ball, 4 inches on the other side of the ball. So hitting it straight is directly related to hitting down the target line through the impact zone as long as possible. Now the third thing, and especially when I talk to males, the third important thing is distance. And it's not just hitting as far as you can, but it's hitting predictable distance with every club. Now, when you have a driver in your hand, you want to hit it as far as you can. But you never want to sacrifice goals 1, hitting up, and goal 2, hitting straight, in favor of goal 3, hitting long. So this is very, very important. There are several keys to hitting the ball long. Number one is using the large muscle groups of your body for your power, not your arms and hands, which are renowned in medical journals by all physicians as the weakest and most unreliable muscle groups in terms of repeating finite action under duress. And believe me, hitting a golf ball is under duress. So we don't want to rely on our hands, but rather our body when we're doing that. So one of the things we want to do, and we're going to learn right away, is how to use our body correctly. But another source of power comes from something you learn in karate, and that would be what we call a pronation of the strong arm, whether you be right-handed or left-handed. The pronation of the back arm through impact is the same movement that a karate expert uses to break through a brick wall, because there's tremendous power in this motion. Now, in order to achieve that, it must be a reactive motion, not a proactive motion. and we're going to show you in the course of the session on this exactly how that's accomplished. Okay? So now we have hit up, hit straight, hit far. All right? That deals with ball. The next area we want to deal with is what do we want to do with our bodies? And what are the laws that govern that? Well, we can use our bodies one of three ways. We can turn them rotationally, we can turn them laterally, which is otherwise known as sliding or shifting, or we can use them vertically. Well, the second two don't make any sense at all because they take you further away from the ball. The chances of getting back to the ball in that exact same position is somewhere between impossible and even more impossible. So rotation is what we want to use as a primary body movement. All right? Now, one of the things that's important about rotation is if your spine is straight from a lateral view, in other words, if I take this same ruler and I stand in a golf position and this X-ray view of my spine, if you will, is straight, then I can rotate until the end of the day on a straight spine and no weight will transfer. And we all know that in addition to rotating, we want our weight to transfer during the golf swing. So how do we accomplish that? You know, if you look at one of the props we use in gray golf, this is a common everyday globe you find on a children's desk or in their classroom. And if you make the axis of that earth perpendicular, like I just said, and spin that globe, you can see that there is no rotation of weight. However, if you tilt it, you can see already that the balance of weight is tilted to one side. And so when rotation occurs, when the shoulders turn on that angle, more weight is transferred onto that side. And as a golfer, we know we want most of our weight on our back side before we start the downswing. So this is a great little reminder, if you will, of what we're trying to accomplish. How we accomplish that is very simple. If we were to take a golf club and we were to agree on one thing, that both of our arms are fairly the same length, but they don't go on the golf club in the same place. So if we place the golf club, regardless of where the ball is, in front of our front thigh, and we bring our right hand in from the side to its place below the other hand, it'll cause our spine to tilt. And it tilts to the right or left if you're a left-hander. What we've done now is we've overloaded one side, we've put our head behind the golf ball, and we've set ourselves to rotate and transfer weight. And we're going to learn this very clearly in the first session. But one of the things that a lot of people don't understand as well, and that is the law of eye-to-hand coordination. And what that requires is that you're able to see what you're trying to hit. Well, if you ever hit your thumb with a hammer while you're trying to hammer a nail, it's because you took your eye off the nail just long enough that your unreliable muscles hit your thumb instead of the nail. Now in golf, if you're standing with a straight spine and the ball's in the middle, then you can't see the bottom of the ball. And the bottom of the ball is where we want the leading edge of the club to hit. So when you get set up correctly, like I just showed you, and you're tilted correctly, now you can see that which you want to hit. Hence, eye-to-hand coordination will work.